Police stupidity seems to be at an all-time high, and I think that's more common knowledge at this point than people realizing that Amy Schumer has never been funny. But unlike Amy Schumer's stand-up, when police officers are incompetent and lack proper training, it kills. It results in so many unnecessary deaths, and I don't like making videos like this. I don't like talking about this topic too often, but I've seen a police shooting video that was so unbelievably brain dead that I had to talk about it. It's honestly convinced me that some of these police departments are lacing their coffee and donuts with doofus pills. It's made me concoct this conspiracy theory in my head about police officers, like a gorilla in a Patrick suit type of situation, where I'm starting to think that some of these police officers are just chimpanzees in human skin suits, because that's somehow more comforting than thinking there are sockos out there with a badge allowed to enforce their own twisted, skewed version of the law. But now to hop into the shooting, it happened in the parking lot of a McDonald's of all places, and the shooting was between Officer James Brennand and a 17-year-old named Eric Cantu. And the reason the officer was there was not related to the 17-year-old whatsoever. He was there on a completely different disturbance call. Now, I don't know exactly what this disturbance call was, but maybe people were like flinging McNuggets at each other in the restaurant, or someone was selling crack out back. I'm not too sure. The point is, he wasn't there in relation to the 17-year-old whatsoever, so they should have never came into contact. But there is an official statement as to why he ended up approaching the 17-year-old in his car, while there was another 17-year-old girl passenger in the passenger seat. And the reason is that he recognized the car as one that had previously evaded him on a traffic stop the day before. And the reason he tried to stop the car the day before was because something to do with a registered license plate that didn't match the actual vehicle. So that led him to believe that the car was stolen. So he calls in backup, but instead of waiting for the backup to arrive, this is what he does. I'm going to show you the video of what he does. There's no audio here, but he waltz up to the car, doesn't knock on the window or anything, just yanks the door open. I'm going to stop the video here, but you can go watch the full thing on YouTube if you want to. But Officer Itchyfinger ends up shooting 10 rounds, is what I believe I counted, into this 17-year-old and his car, just proving that a gun would be in safer hands with a toddler or Paul Blart. So instead of acting like a police officer, maybe flashing a badge, knocking on a window, asking him to roll it down so he can like get this issue sorted out, he yanks the door open in like presumably black clothing. You can't really tell he's a police officer maybe. And then the kid obviously turns on his fight or flight because he's probably thinking he's being robbed right now. So he puts the car into reverse and tries to back out, which prompts the cop to immediately reach for his gun and start shooting at the kid. This officer's life is not in danger whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. The kid doesn't have a weapon. He's not trying to run him over with the car. He's simply trying to leave because some stranger just yanked his door open without warning. And it's still absolutely baffling to me that the officer's first reaction was to reach for his gun and draw like it was high noon, or he's like Yosemite Sam or something, just gotta itching to squeeze that trigger. And like I mentioned, there is a passenger in the car with this kid as well. So even if the kid was guilty of whatever he thought the crime he was committed and he was trying to flee and he deserved to get shot, you're still shooting at an innocent person in the passenger seat. Having a shoot first, ask questions later mentality isn't exactly the best way to protect and serve. When you're at McDonald's, you shouldn't have to be constantly glancing over your shoulder thinking that RoboCop's gonna come out of nowhere and try to kill you. The only thing you should be afraid of at McDonald's is obesity and diabetes. That's the only thing you should have to be afraid of taking your life while you're there. And this is a new recruit to the police force. He hasn't been on there entirely too long, according to the articles I've read. So I guess this guy just became a police officer, got the gun and the badge, and he feels like his penis grew an extra 10 inches from its previous 0.5-inch micro penis status. So now he thinks he's got a itching to pull the trigger on anybody he can. The officer's treating this situation like the kid just robbed a bank, or like he's trying to take down a supervillain and help the Avengers save the day. There's just no reason you should have shot in the first place, or shot that many times. But anyways, there is some good news to this story. Well, actually, two bits of good news. One is good news that the kid didn't die. He did get shot a couple times, but he is in stable condition at the hospital. And I believe it said the passenger in the articles, the 17-year-old girl, was unharmed, so she's fine as well. So nobody ended up dying in this situation. But the really good news is that the officer did lose his job. But just like in every police shooting case, the officer never gets what they actually deserve. He didn't get jail time, and it doesn't look like he's going to face jail time. He just had his badge and gun stripped away, which, whoop-de-doo. If I could recommend one job to this guy, though, I would recommend he go to clown school and maybe start doing, like, children's birthday parties or something, because I think he'd look really good with a big red nose. But I think what would look even better on the ex-officer would be a orange jumpsuit, and then him being like a sex doll for the top dog in the prison. I think that would fit him much better. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And obviously, if you couldn't tell, I didn't show the entire video because I don't want to show someone getting shot at and getting shot, because it's just in poor taste, I believe. But the video is out there on YouTube for you to look at if you do want to see it. It doesn't show anything bad, but you know, knowing that the kid did suffer injuries, I just didn't want to put that on here. But I do wish him the best in his recovery, and I wish the officer the worst. I actually wish that he would get treated worse than a piece of bubblegum on the sidewalk. I have no respect for that dude. I think he is the lowest of the lowlifes, scum of the earth. But this will probably be the last police shooting video I make, unless the police officers somehow keep getting even dumber, which does look likely at this point, honestly. It's like police officers just keep devolving while the rest of humanity slightly evolves. I do want to add that I don't think all police officers are horrible people. I do think a good majority of them are trying to make the world a better place, and they're good people, but it only takes a few bad apples to spoil the bunch and ruin it for the rest of them. Anyways, I just wanted to make this video because I seen the update to the situation where the police officer ended up getting fired, which is cause for a Super Bowl party celebration. But honestly, he still deserves more. But anyways, I'll catch you next time.